Well, good evening, everybody. It is Brad.
And I'm Christa.
With the Big Family Homestead, and we are excited to be here with this Monday Night Live with you.
Yes.
And it's live.
Yes.
And it's Monday.
Yes.
Which therefore it makes it
Monday Night Live.
very good.
Oh, I got that one.
He
didn't even prompt me beforehand.
Yeah. So let's say hi to everybody here. Good morning. Good morning.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good afternoon. Wait, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
So who's here, Mama? Say hi.
Becky. Okay.
Go ahead.
Don't move it. Not yet.
Go ahead.
Felicia, Norman, Real Life Budgeting, Cheryl, Bright Horizon, Fun Size Lady, Teresa, Scott, Hearts, Hearth, and Homestead. Hopefully the children are not. Yeah. Scott and Franklin, North Carolina, Laura, Gentry Homestead, Thrifty VG from Rhode Island, Emily Show, Della Peachy, Mike DeFazio, William Roeder. I'm thinking that's how that would be spelled.
Where is that one?
Right here. Right there.
Roeder,
Georgina, Michelle, Whitetail Hollow. You can scroll down now.
Scroll down. Here we go. Skip to the bottom.
RIG, BB from Spain, Teresa, Wiz in PA, Verna Helvik, Alicia, Phoebe, Clawfoot Farm, Helen, Stepping Back in Time in Kentucky. I like that. Stepping Back in Time, Kentucky. I like that. That's a great name. And everybody else that I missed, I apologize.
Many, many, many more. How are you guys doing? Why don't you sound off, tell us from what state you are, and that will begin the whole topic of building community.
Yep.
Which is our topic tonight. Tonight, our topic is...
building community.
Yep. And we actually have a call-in special guest. We have an author of many, many books.
Many leather-bound books?
Many leather-bound books. He's kind of a big deal. He's kind of a big deal. Yeah, we've got Tyler Woods. He's going to be calling in later, and he's a retired pastor, author of many books, and he has done many, many things in, the preparedness community. And we're going to chat up a little bit about why it's important to have community at all.
Yep.
And I'm hoping, I'm looking out the window right now, I'm hoping that we were able to continue this broadcast because that was just a big thunderous boom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's kind of gross outside, so.
Kind of gross. So yeah. Who do we have here? Wait a minute. Cheryl and Tara for Medford. We've got some people from Wisconsin,
very cool.
Local folk.
Sweet.
How come we haven't run into you at the Walmart? We're there all the time.
Yeah. Oh, she just retracted her message.
Ah.
We know where you're from.
Ohio. OHIO. Yeah. Let's see. So Central funny. Pennsylvania, Iowa. Woohoo,
Montana,
Tyler.
Central PA.
Out of your reach.
Yeah, BB, you're in Spain. You know, if we ever did go, I probably would want to visit for a little bit.
I would want to go to a real football game.
Yes.
Barcelona.
Not Real Madrid?
Real Madrid, yeah. I like soccer, I'm saying soccer for the English speakers here.
Football.
But it's really football.
It's football.
It's really football.
Because you play with your foot.
Well,
it's not handball.
Yeah, I'd like to see Lionel Messi play. He's a ridiculously good player.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. I digress. Yep. One day we'll be able to afford cable, and then we can watch soccer again. It's so expensive.
It really is. I think there's a way that you can do it through other internet-based things, but we haven't figured those out yet.
Oh.
Like stream. Is it not stream? I don't remember.
The Walmart. Mike DeFazio. Here's the thing, that in Medford, the Walmart is the place that you go. There's two grocery stores really.
In Medford.
In Medford. There's the county market and then there's Walmart.
Right.
Now, county market is for the people that make money.
Those are for the executives.
Yeah, it's got all the nice stuff. It's clean all the time.
They're okay now, and then in County Market, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that surprised me because the Walmart in Medford is not. I think they open at either 5 or 6 in the morning and they close at 11. So they're not open 24/7. But
Oh.
yes, Richard. Mama said foosball is the devil.
Mama said foosball is
Yep.
if a snake.
Boy.
Yeah. A snake don't
We
have
love that-
parts,
love that
really.
movie.
Snake don't have parts, really.
Yeah.
But if it did, I would say it was his knee.
Squirrel.
Go ahead.
Sorry, that was my fault. I shouldn't have. Anyway.
Yeah, Walmart is stopping selling some of the Second Amendment things, Michigan Daffodil.
Yes, they are.
And that's that's a whole mess that we could do 10 shows on.
Yeah.
Because, I personally think that folks who are not into respecting the Second Amendment, I think that if they have a rational discussion with somebody who's not a crazy person, and you honestly, openly talk about why it's there, then you may not like the idea, but you can respect it. But that's a whole other story that we're going to not get into today.
Right.
So why don't we do, you know what? It's time. It's time.
It's time.
It's time for channel shoutouts, guys.
It's that time.
Oh, no, wait. We haven't even done our updates. Hold on. Time out.
What?
Ugh.
And he's throwing them on the ground.
Throwing
He's
them on
throwing
the
the
ground.
list I made on the ground.
And I love lists.
I love lamp.
I love lamp. Brick, are you just saying that because
I love carpet.
I love carpet?
I love cup.
All right. Stuff that has been going on
This
lately.
is why we don't have cable. We watched way too many movies.
Yeah. So do tell.
Do tell.
Bathroom updates.
Bathroom update.
We've been remodeling.
We spent the majority of Saturday and Sunday redoing our bathroom. Painting. Brad really, it's pouring down rain right at the moment.
The weather's getting
Brad
nasty.
really rocked it with the electrical because I have no idea.
I did get shocked once.
Well, yes, because you decided you weren't going to turn off the electrical for one little plug.
The kids were watching TV.
So?
I didn't want to do it.
So?
Eh.
Yeah.
Nah,
So? Yeah. So?
Oh. What's mine say?
Dude.
What's mine say? Sweet. What's mine say?
Dude. Okay, we have to
Forget it.
stop that. Okay, so the bathroom, the shower curtain, and the shower rod are up. A few decorative items are up on the walls. We just really have to finish the floor. That's the only thing that that we have yet to do. So that will not be happening even tomorrow. Probably have to wait till this weekend. So.
Yeah, we got a lot to do.
And then, oh, I'm sorry. When the floor gets put in, then the washer and dryer get put back in, so we can do laundry again.
Although
okay.
we did have this very pleasant discovery because Mama told me that the stove wasn't going to work.
Oh yeah.
And so we had not been using the stove to cook meals with. We were doing other things to prepare the food. And I accidentally bumped into it tonight, and I was like, click, 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 and it came on. And I was like, oh, I guess they're not on the same
No. Okay,
pipe.
so when I turned the gas off to the dryer in the basement, there were 2 gas lines coming from that one shutoff valve. Well, I thought it ran up to the stove, but I was wrong. It was, did you hear that?
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Well, fortunately, we have that recorded because it never happens.
I know, right?
It never happens.
So I shut off the gas to the dryer and the heater in the garage.
Yep.
Which is not needed right now anyway. So.
Yeah, that's funny. When is the big bathroom reveal?
Move that bus.
Driver, move that bus.
It
says
probably
Richard
won't be
Barnes.
until this weekend unless some weird thing happens. But
well, Mrs. T, what color is the floor, wood or vinyl? The color is cherry, dark cherry.
But it is vinyl.
But it's that thick vinyl.
Yeah, it looks like wood plank, but it's actually vinyl, and they kind of stick. They overlap and stick together. So it's the same stuff that we have in the dining room. We really like that. So
yeah, and
it holds up well and washes
well. And it really does look right.
It looks nice, yeah.
because the cheap stuff, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What happened to your bus, says Angie B's house? I will tell you. Okay. Brace for impact. Here's
Everybody
the thing.
sitting down?
All right. If you don't know, we started the Self-Reliant Roadshow with Prepsteader Bob. It was kind of my idea. I was there in his shop. We were working together, and I shared the idea with him, and then one thing led to another, and it just built on it. And we grew this idea, and we had the opportunity to get those buses, and the intention was to build them into a viable way for us to get around the country. And because Prepsteader Bob and Mrs. B don't have animals, they have a lot more freedom to get around quickly because of their station in life.
Well, yeah, they don't have kids at home,
right.
And they don't have farm animals and
right.
things like that.
So they were able to just get out and go, where we couldn't because we're saving up money to try to buy this house. So we got the bus with the intention of repairing it and going out. But it turned out that was just not going to be financially what we could do. I mean, we still have to save up several $1,000s before we can get a down payment for this house.
Right.
So we had to make a decision. And the decision was take the bus back to the place that we got it from, because he was totally cool. And he said, hey, if you get stuck, you're in a pinch, I'll buy it back for everything you paid in. So we didn't lose any money, but we've been paying in a bill every month for how long? A year?
10 months, I think.
Not quite a year. But he was cool and just said, hey, bring the bus back. That way you can use the money towards your down payment. And when you're ready, I'll sell you another bus at a sweet deal. Yeah. So we're just like, well, we got to put this on the back burner. And that's kind of that.
Yeah.
So.
Kind of a bummer because of all the work we did, but.
And we really want to get out there and help folks.
Right.
But it's just not right now in the cards, I guess. So that said, moving on. All right. We did waffle and get some wood.
Yeah, we did. We couldn't pass up this deal. Okay, we
Slab, you gotta tell them.
Well, yeah, this deal on this slab wood, they were big bundles of slab wood, and when I asked the guy, okay, if this is all cut up, how much wood will this be? He said just about a cord, a full cord, not a face cord, not a cord, not a rick. You know, there's so many different terms. No, a full actual cord. I said, okay, that sounds good to me. So, should we say anything about what we paid, or does it matter?
No, I don't think they need, I mean, because everybody pays different.
Everybody pays different, true. In your region, everybody pays different. And I understand that it is just, it's what's been cut off, but it's still actually wood. And some of the pieces are this thick and this big. You know, there's some big pieces of wood there. And what he said is he actually, that's all he uses at their house. Because when he's not home, his wife is still able to feed the fire. Yeah. Because she can't handle the big honking chunks, the big honking pieces. So she can keep the fire going by using that, which is great.
All right. Quick question. I've seen several people asking about the price of the bus. I don't want to betray anything that happened between me and the company that we got this from. However, let me just tell you this, that it was really cool that we met this person whose name is Derek. And yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the bus. I thought you were talking about the wood. Sorry.
Yeah, the bus.
Sorry.
Whose name is Derek, and he was a believer, and he really believed in what we were doing. And so he cut us a deal that was, you couldn't say no to it. And if you're interested in buses, he does workout deals, and that's just on the west side of Minneapolis, and it's called Quality Bus and Truck Parts. Quality Bus and Truck Parts. And they're awesome people to deal with, and they've got several buses right now. As a matter of fact, if you're following what's going on with Starry Hilder, if you don't know who Starry Hilder is, she's got a YouTube channel. She's been around for a long time, and she's dealing with some serious health issues. divorcee in Wisconsin right now in a vehicle RV kind of thing that's not good. It's leaking like crazy, and we're thinking that that might be part of her sickness. However, we talked to Derek at Quality Bus and Truck Parts about her situation. Prepstetter Bob's like, what if we could raise some money and get her that bus? A small one, like a short bus, you know, kind of thing.
Something easier for her to handle.
Yeah. And he said, absolutely, you can take it at cost. Consider that my gift.
Yeah.
That's and it's like, yeah. So there's that. So the bus thing, that's the bus thing right there. We do plan on getting another one in the future, but the house has to come first.
Yep. Yep.
The house has to come first.
Yep. We got to take care of our family, and this is the way we got to do it.
Okay. So other things. Our daughter Grace, she's got a big day tomorrow. She's got
I would say a pretty big appointment to find out what they're going to be doing is a nasopharynoscopy.
You wrote it down?
No. Well, I read it from the paper that they sent. They're going to do a nasopharynoscopy, which basically they're going to put a light and a camera up her nose, and then they're going to look down at her throat.
Isn't that crazy? They'll shove a camera up your nose?
Yeah, they're going to have to kind of anesthetize it a little bit, just kind of numb her nose, not anesthetize it, numb it so that it doesn't hurt.
Just shove a pill up there?
No, it's like a spray, I think.
Mm.
You know, I saw, and I'm kicking myself for not looking at it. Speaking of spray, numbing, they have a spray lidocaine at Walmart.
Really? For what?
I don't know. I was going to look at it, and then as I was getting some stuff from the pharmacy, and I totally forgot to look at it.
What would happen if you got it in your eyes?
Oh, my Lord.
No?
No.
No?
No. So anyhow, we have a big appointment tomorrow.
You got it on my hands, honey.
How about if it got on your mouth?
So tomorrow's a big appointment.
Yes. Yeah, it's a big appointment tomorrow. Anyway.
She's going to have a nasopharynoscopy.
Nasopharynoscopy. And I think they're just going to look at all of her anatomy down inside. But what I was curious about is why we had to drive so far when this is something that's a pretty common thing. But apparently, I talked to the speech therapist where Grace, you know, the gal that Grace sees, and she said, I told her who we were seeing and the fact that he has a PhD after his speech pathology credentials. And she's like, wow, that's a big deal. And she said it really looked just like that. She's so passionate about speech pathology. And she's a sweet lady. I love her to death. Will you quit making faces? Anyway, she said the fact that he has a PhD after his name means he really has gone into... Oh my gosh.
I need a pipe.
You are not coming tomorrow then.
Tennis Buffy.
Anyway.
Cheryl, we just talked about that.
Rewind a little while because we just talked about that.
And I forget who said something, but they quoted, what was the movie? It was with Rick Moranis. Don't make me laugh, you hoser.
I saw that.
When you get he put the bullets in his nose. What was that? Oh, Strange Brew.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Somebody forgot his meds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, other stuff going on. Should we do our homeschool update? We haven't done the channel shoutouts. Now it's time.
Well, we can't.
Why not?
We only have... Okay, fine.
We got plenty of time. Okay. All right, folks. It is time in this program that you are not only allowed to shout out your channel, you can shamelessly plug your channel just for a few minutes. And then when it's time to you no more. Got it? So
hope you understood that. If not, you have to put it in slow motion.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out the channels you're watching. Shout out the channels you like. You can shout out your own channel until it's done. And then Christa will read as many as she can. And then you will be heralded among the people as awesome. And so on your mark, get set, and go. Hickory Ridge Farm.
Oh, the Wandering Woodsman, Dutch Green Cabin. Sorry, I'm reading the comment. It's hysterical. Jen's Weight Loss Den, Roots and Refuge. Come on, guys. You gotta go faster than that.
Type.
Queen's Cabinet, PSB, Bobblehead Homestead, Whippoorwill Holler. The Cajun Homestead, Eyes to See. Alicia's, I can't even say your last name. Rich Green Acres. Esfredoli, I got no channel. Our Acres of Clay, Crazy Lamp Lady, Adaptive Maritimer, Doug Linker, Little Mountain Ranch, DIY Ifrant, Red Poppy Ranch. You've got more on your Stiver Homestead, PG Nano Farms,
Hillbilly Kitchen.
That's great. Lion of Judah Worship, Prepper Nurse One, Homesteading
Raven
Family.
Tactical is the best channel, or
It's
channel's the greatest.
Shofar
There you
Mountain,
go.
Hillbilly Kitchen, the Casual Prepper Podcast, Prep Starter Bob, Little Village, Homestead, the Cajun Homesteader. What?
I can't see where you're at.
I'm 13
Okay,
Moons
keep going.
Homestead Mornings with Granny, Father Autism, Life of Nina, Season Her Apron, Kimmy, Bear Independent.
Bear
Art and
Independent.
Breed DIY.
You need to say it like that, though.
What?
Bear Independent.
Okay. Living Traditions, Homestead, Prepper Nurse One, the Steph BV.
Steph B. Blog.
I don't know what that's.
All right, it's time for a quick homeschool update. Let's try that, shall we?
Sorry, y'all.
Sorry, y'all. Working on it. There it is now.
Can you hear? Can you hear
Now
us
you
now?
can. Sorry. It was a cool transition, and then the transition didn't have the audio.
Pump up the volume, Brad.
It's there now. It's
Okay.
You know it's on a delay.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so tell them about the homeschool thingy.
Maybe just go back to the other thingy.
No.
Because it still says no sound.
Mama, they're on a delay. 30 seconds.
Okay.
Told ya.
It's working on my computer.
Told ya.
So, okay, so I'll go back and start again. In the description are the things that we're using for school, but I'm only going to talk about this one particular thing. So today was the start of the second week of homeschool. It's been kind of interesting, and we have to be very flexible because of doctor's appointments and a YouTube channel and and just life in general. So the one thing that we're really loving is English from the Roots Up. This is an excellent resource for learning all of your Greek and Latin roots. There is there is 100. I didn't pick that. It's
a root.
Yes, it is a root. So there are 100 Greek and Latin roots in here, and so far we are on the third one. We're doing it 3 days a week. And look at this, they come with, they have flashcards. So photos means light. Okay.
Photos.
Photos.
What does interweb mean?
I don't know. Haven't gotten there yet. Graph means to write or draw. So the kids are really loving this. They're making their own flashcards so that these don't get messed up. That way they have their own set that they can reference through, and they really are liking it. So.
Well, and it's so beneficial to the rest of your life.
Oh, no kidding.
I didn't learn very much Latin, but I learned enough, and it's helped me, be able to dissect words that you don't know because you've never read them before.
Right. This particular curriculum, and you don't, like I said, you don't have to do this every day. It only really takes about 5 to 10 minutes to talk about it. It helps with reading, writing, spelling, and SAT scores. I will say, David did this when he was 3rd grade, 4th grade, younger, elementary age. It was probably 4th grade. And he has done amazing through school.
Yeah.
He really didn't need a whole lot of assistance. So, but it was a lot of fun to do this.
So, summing up, that book is called what? And you like it?
It is called English from the Roots Up. I have volume 1. There is a volume 2. And there is a link below if you want to check it out.
That is correct. Okay, so we are going to switch gears now. In just a few moments, that telephone is going to ring, and it's going to be Tyler Woods. And like I said, Tyler Woods is a retired pastor. He's a retired rock star. He does speaking engagements, and he's done a lot of emergency preparedness. And he's going to talk to us today a little bit about the importance of community, especially in light of all of these storms and stuff that's been going on. It will be very beneficial, and he's going to talk about how to build community. He's going to talk about why it's important, and so Tyler Woods, cue the telephone ring. How about that? Yes, no, maybe
There's a
so.
delay, don't forget.
I know he's got 30 seconds. There he is. There he is. All right. One, two, three. Hey, Tyler Woods, you there? Oh, I got to put on my headphones. Try that again. Can I hear you? I hear nothing but static. I think we're going to need to try that again, my friend. Try again. I think our call's bad.
Does this red light mean anything?
Yes, it does.
What does it mean?
It does. It means if I press that, it's muted.
Ah, see? It was lit, so I just assumed that it was already muted.
Let's try this again.
It's a brighter red.
You there?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. All right.
Good.
We had some nasty static. You there?
Well, that's probably a little bit of latent static from my wife. She's giving me static all the time, and she's here in the room, and so she just stuck her tongue out at me.
That's not nice.
Okay, well, Tyler Woods, please describe yourself. Make the man, the myth, the legend into something that is a reality for us.
Uh-oh. I could get in trouble there. I've got witnesses here. I don't know. What can I say? I've had tons of disasters in my life, not of my own choosing, but I've been through earthquakes and floods and blizzards and multiple earthquakes, multiple hurricanes, a typhoon, 250-mile-an-hour winds, lasted 96 hours. The eye wall passed over us, lasted 45 minutes of dead air. That was kind of interesting. And I've been through a ton of these. And in no time was I ever the victim. I was always the one there to help others out because I was raised that way. My dad taught us a lot about being prepared. And when I was very young, we had an October 12th hurricane tail end, basically, that hit the Pacific Northwest of all places. And we were without power for 10 days. And hey, we didn't suffer. We were camping in our living room and cooking in the fireplace. It was a ball.
Nice.
So it's kind of been a life for me. And when I worked for the Boeing company, I was the disaster preparedness local for the Bellevue East side, and ended up writing the evacuation procedure for that whole place, and then ended up doing it for the Auburn. They called it the Sheet Metal Center back then, but it's a huge place. You could park something like 17 747s in there. It's huge. And how do you get everybody out and accounted for? And that was my job as well. So interesting life. Got down here and got a call saying that FEMA that was supposed to pick up where I left off didn't, and could I send my notes? So I rewrote them and ended up being a book, and one thing led to six.
I hear that. So, all right, let's get right to it, my friend. The current state of our country on the East Coast and throughout the Caribbean and throughout the ocean over there on the East Coast, a lot of people really, really hurting right now, and a lot of people going through real life survival situations. We're here talking about community building today. And so well, first of all, let's go ahead and frame what community looks like in your world, or what it should look like in a survival situation and just a regular day-to-day life situation. What should community look like?
Well, our community, actually, this whole thing with Dorian coming through is just an example of our need for community, and to be discerning and judicious about what community that should be. We see the worst of humanity come out, and we sometimes see the best. But when you deal with heavy population centers, you tend to see the worst. The social meltdown is pretty ugly, and it should reinforce the need, no matter where you are, to choose your community and choose the people that you will be around. We have a good example with Abraham's nephew Lot. He chose to embed himself into an evil community in Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm sure he had the best wishes of trying to reform them all, and it just didn't work out. And it ended up poisoning his own family, and his whole lineage from then on never really recovered. It was downhill from a bad decision. Meanwhile, Abraham, he chose his communities well, built his community up from his own people, his own servants, and he succeeded very well. So, you need to choose your community. This idea of, bloom where you planted, that works, but you better make sure it's where God planted you and not where you decided that the job was best. So the community is it's a group of people with like minds, and we are told when speaking to believers, we're told to be in the world but not of the world. And when you're in a large urban, heavy, dense population of people, you're not going to have a huge impact. And when things, what we call the fecal fan convergence, happens, it's not a safe place to be. And your impact is going to be very short-lived, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, so now, obviously, that's kind of a scary place to be. Well, let me ask you this then: how do we avoid that? How do we avoid? I mean, because I'll tell you this: I know for a fact that if some bad thing happened to my west, I've got the Don and his family, and he would have my back, and we would have his back without a doubt. To the east of us, I don't think we have anybody for a long, long way. And then there's a family that's east of us, and they're good people, and we know them. And then to the north of us, we've got good people that we hang out with once in a while and do like cookouts and stuff like that. But we're extremely blessed in that we have a community that that really is awesome. And I think I attribute it to not only those people being good people, but us getting out into their world and involving ourselves in their world, not by being a pushy butt or anything, but just by saying, hey, I'm here to help you. And when you need a hand, we'll give a hand. And when we need a hand, can you help us out? Is that the kind of thing that needs, how do you foster that in like a more dense population area? Because here it was easy.
Yeah, it is easy because I keep going back to Bible verses. There's a verse that says, "Woe unto men when border is joined unto border and there is no room." Sounds like urban sprawl to me. When you're out in the country, people have better values. They have better care for one another, and they look out for their neighbors, and they lend a hand, and they do all of these things that are just unheard of in an urban area. It's very, very difficult to have an effective working close-knit community in an urban area. The common rule among preparedness is to get 50 miles away from the outer limits of any metropolitan area. That's 50 miles outside of the suburbs, and then 15 miles away from any major arterial, primary road, like a major highway, interstate type highway.
We're there.
And it seems like distance is a good thing. I heard something a while back that the solution for pollution is dilution. Well, it's to get away from the masses of, human pollution and get out where you are more among people of like mind. And people in farming communities, if they work hard, help each other, and then work harder, you might make it through the winter. They've learned values, and they've learned to pray, and farmers pray for rain because they know that God's in charge. And when you get into the cities, you don't find all that. It's difficult.
Well, okay, and while I agree with you, I can say that a lot of people are just going, well, Tyler, I'm where I'm at. I'm planted here. I don't have the ability to pick up and go. I don't have the money, or I don't have a job, or I don't have frankly, the ability to get out. So if I can't get out, what's the next best thing?
Well, I've always, in my book, 11th Hour Preparedness, shameless plug, I come up with a concept of good, better, best. And anything you do that moves you towards having more food, more water, maybe a place to flee to, or a means to get there, and building some close alliances with people of like mind that are around you. All of those are good things. Now, better would be to get out into the suburbs, or out into the getting further away, getting some distance, or maybe having a retreat place that you can go to that you can stock up and prepare, and you've got family members somewhere that are of like mind. You can store food and supplies there that you'll have a place to go to. That's better. And of course, best is to have your off-grid retreat.
You there? We may have had a technical issue. I'm going to go and check the phone while Christa talks.
Okay. I was just in the process of getting a link. There was a subscriber that asked for a link. What was that? Anyhow, I'm trying to get that link for that book. Oh, that was me.
That was you. You just cut it off.
That came in after.
Hey, Tyler. Here, let's try and call Tyler.
Okay, well, I won't do that.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
Let's not do that. Okay.
Hey, Brad,
well,
Tyler. I wasn't sure whether I was supposed to call you at 4 o'clock or 4:30. Kind of looks like maybe
honey.
It was 4.
We're having some technical difficulties. That was my
This
fault.
is Tyler. If you're not on my contact list, I do not answer unidentified calls.
What?
So leave a message.
He's probably trying to call you.
No. Let's try this one more time. Tyler Woods. Let's see if we can get this going.
He's calling back.
Calling back. Hello? Big summer blowout. Come on, dude. We need some signal. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, no, that couldn't have been me because it.
Are you there?
Ah, we're back.
Ah, there he goes.
Okay, so good, better, best.
Well, best is getting out into your off-grid location among a community of preppers on a mountain hideaway that's accessible only by a narrow one-lane road coming through a tight valley.
Oh my gracious.
I mean, well, your ideal prepper hideaway type of thing, But you're in a community of people and you raise your own food and you do all of that. Of course, you can't really do that. There are no Shangri-La places where you can supply everything you need.
True.
But you try to be as self-sufficient as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And in a community of others, maybe, one person grows a lot of produce, you grow some meat, you can get by. But in the end, you're always going to need something that comes from the store.
Well, let me ask you this, and people out in the live chat land, folks that are there with us, you type in what your experiences are, and I'm going to let Tyler Woods answer this question, and you guys answer it as well in the chat. Have you noticed that there seems to be another ramping up of tensions between politicians and people, the left and the right, Republicans and Democrats? And if so, do you foresee it slowing down, or do you see it getting worse?
Now, this is an election cycle. We're coming into the 2020 election. It's going to get ugly before it's over. And if it goes to the GOP at the presidential election, you can look for riots in the street in opposition to the vote of the people. It happened before. It'll happen again. It's just the ugly side of politics and the general decay of civility among the groups.
Well, now for me, I remember back. Okay, here's the thing: like, no matter what side of the aisle you sit on, when Obama, that first term, everybody was kind of like on edge, but then the second term, gun sales went through the roof. Ammo sales went through the roof. Everybody was freaking out thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be the end of the republic. Do you foresee that it being worse than Obama? Because yes, I mean, no matter what side of the aisle you sit on, you have to admit that Trump is one of those people that folks have a very defined view of what they think of him. Either they hate him or they love him.
Right.
And so my concern is that people that are going to hate him are going to make life miserable for the people that love him, and that it's going to be a problem for everybody.
Right. I think we're seeing it already. We're seeing false flag activity going on. That, I mean, if your purpose is to, let's say, enact gun control and to get the public's backing for gun control, then you need some atrocities that demonstrate why we need gun control. And when you sort of orchestrate those to prove your point, that's called a false flag. And, it's actually being done by the people that have a political end to make it happen. And this has happened in our country before. This isn't just conspiracy. This is just flat, human behavior. It's done all the time. And they found many that have been, proven out later to be just that, false flag actions. And it's terrible. It's really, really bad. But I don't think, I guess we will see if the country turns towards a liberal side of government, I think we will see gun purchases and ammo purchases spike. But I think what we're seeing right now is literally people picking up and moving to safer locations. People are pouring into northern Idaho and eastern Washington and Montana and even Wyoming and all along the Appalachians. People are moving to the homesteading areas and getting away from the cities. And they're finding life a lot better because there's people of like mind there.
Well, I hear you there, and I agree. The thing is that I know I'm coming back to this again, because I know there's a lot of people that are listening that just can't leave. And so they don't have a good, better, or best. They have where they're at. And so I would ask, this might be the most difficult question. How do you find a safe space if you're in a dense population? How do you find a way to weather the storm?
Well, just like on this, on your forum here, on your channel, people are making connections, and they know where, they've made other connections with other sites and other places. And as you network through your friends and your list of friends, you start finding people. I mean, we found people through homesteading channels that are all over the area that we want to, that we're planning on moving to in Washington. But then also, we're finding people that are close by here. And as we get a hold of them, well, make contact, meet up and find out what you've got as resources and how can you work together? How can you help each other? And it always works. You got to network. You got to move towards making things a little better than you are. A little, anything you do is good, and the more you do it, it makes things better.
Amen. Now, you need to shamelessly plug your book before we say good night.
Okay, I've got 3 books that I'd like to plug. First one is more or less a manual, and it's the 11th Hour Preparedness, and it's available on Amazon. And you could just search my name on Amazon, and it should pop up all my books there. The other 2 are novels. Now, the first book talks about how do you physically do the things you need to do, how to purify water, how to find water, how to store food, what kinds of food and how much food do you need to put away, those sort of things. Now, the novels that I wrote are actually preparedness-minded, much like the Little House on the Prairie series, that you learn a lot about pioneering by reading a story about pioneers. And the things that they did are all technically accurate and workable. But those actually cover more of the emotional side of what happens when society collapses and how people come together to help each other, both with physical needs and emotional and spiritual needs to respond to that. Because, having all of the physical stuff is only half of the equation. We are physical people, but we're also emotional people. And this idea of being a lone wolf and I'll go out in the woods and live there, that ends up with emotional decay and usually ends very badly.
Well, it's a really funny thing now that we actually do live right in the North Woods, and we take ATV rides out into the actual woods.
Yeah, the North Woods that Laura Ingalls Wilder would always talk about in her books.
Let me tell you what, people, there's no way that if you've not trained yourself for years that you would die. You would just absolutely die. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that can happen, and it's not like it is in the fantasy world of your mind where you just think, oh, I'll just go and lumberjack it up. How about you do this? Do me a favor. For those of you who think you're going to lumberjack it up, go ahead and get yourself a nice, a nice axe from Home Depot, and go and cut yourself down just a normal sized tree, something maybe 12 inches across.
Yeah, see how
Go ahead and cut that into firewood. And if you're not begging for mercy after the first hour, you will be after the second hour. I don't care how beefy you are. And think about it like this. That wood ain't even going to be good until next year. Because it's got to dry out.
It's got to dry, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there are so many things that we have in our minds that are these fantasy ideas of, I'll just go do this. Here's a good one, and I know I was just saying goodbye, but you got another few minutes, Tyler?
Yeah, I see some comments about the books on Amazon. The book, The 11th Hour Preparedness, is second edition. Don't worry about first edition, because everything in the first edition is in the second edition, plus that much more. It's twice as much information as in the first edition, and everything in the first edition is in the second edition. The other two books are Days of Ragnarok, and the second one is called Realm of Ragnarok. And those are the two novels. But as far as the 11th Hour Preparedness, you only want the second edition. Don't buy the first one.
Yeah. Going back to the fantasy thing, though, it's really funny because just think of a basic thing like gardening. Everybody thinks, oh, I'll just get my survival seed bank. And then when society melts down, then all of a sudden, now I'm going to garden and make enough food for my family and my friends and all that kind of stuff. It's not that easy.
No.
No. It generally takes somebody who is relatively skilled at gardening, takes 3 years to develop a garden to the point that it really starts producing well. And some of that is learning what plants grow well in your area and what time of the year to plant them. And the other is developing the soil so that it's rich enough to start actually getting the job done.
Well, that, and let's just assume that there was some societal breakdown. Everyone's going to want what's in your garden, and you're probably not going to be able to do anything about it unless you can defend yourself.
Yep, absolutely. And it goes like making fire. Most people practice how to make fire with flint and steel somewhere around June or July in a sunny day. Try that on a rainy day in the forest when it's been raining cats and dogs for a week. Now go find dry wood and make a fire.
Well, and try and find any wood, wet wood, and make a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what we make in our minds as this fantasy idea. It's not like that. And I think more people will be very surprised unpleasantly when all of a sudden they can't do all this stuff that they remember doing when they learned it in Boy Scouts.
Yeah. You got to be in practice now.
Yeah, go out camping sometime. Throw a backpack on your back and go out in the middle of fall when it's raining and soggy and wet and miserable, and go spend a couple days in the woods.
Yeah, and if you don't come back with pneumonia, then you're doing at least pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right, Tyler Woods, you've sufficiently plugged your book, and I will say that it is an excellent book. And I was looking at some of the comments, and it looks like Raven Tactical agrees that it's an excellent book. 9 out of 10. That's pretty good.
Yep.
And with that, I'm gonna scoot over here and say goodbye to you, and then we're gonna switch back on over to finish up the show. But thank you so very much for coming on.
All right. God bless you all. Love the channel.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Man, oh man, that is such a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to have a friend of the channel and our family that is so knowledgeable and he has helped us tremendously with so many things that we've needed.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because when he'll see a video, he'll be like, "Oh, I know that. I have that tractor, or I know about it."
Right. He gives us a call and says, "This is this and this. This is what you need to do." So.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So let's see what time we got, Mama.
We have 7:55 on my laptop.
All right. That means that it's time to say goodnight, people. We are a family of believers, if you haven't figured that out already. And so we do like to say a prayer at the end of our broadcast. So, but we don't want to, push anybody to think that they're forced into anything. So if that's not you, we hope you stick around. But if it's not you, we're not going to try and force anything on you. So hopefully we'll see you back next week. And for those of you who are open to praying, well, we're going to jump on in and we're going to say good night after that. So here we go. Father God, thank you so very much for each and every one of these folks that have come tonight. I ask that you would pour out blessings on them and that you would just let them know without a shadow of a doubt that you are a loving Father. You are a Father who will never leave us, or forsake us. Never. You've removed every stumbling block, every path that would just get infested with trouble on the way to knowing who you are. You've removed it all. Help us to see how awesome and kind and loving you are, and to see the sacrifice that you made so that we could be with you. Thank you, Lord. It's in Jesus' holy and precious name we pray. Amen. Alrighty, kids. You guys have an awesome and blessed night.